Hey there, I'm Colin Weston, host of the ModGolf podcast. Thank you for joining us on the ModGolf YouTube channel. Today, my guest is Petra Himmel, who is a journalist in the sport and especially the golf space with a focus on sustainable design and the work that she does with golfsustainable.com, her website there. Really impactful things and insights we're going to get today. Just finished up episode 1 of our season 16 of the ModGolf podcast that I just recorded with Petra. Had a great conversation there. But now we're going to actually talk about a few other things there that we held off on the podcast episode, on the audio version, because hopefully after you watch this, and I'll have a link below, that you'll go back and listen to that conversation too. So, hey, to start it off here, first thing I'm going to do is I am going to bring Petra on screen here and welcome her to the ModGolf YouTube channel. Petra, thanks for joining me again.
Hello, everybody. Yeah, hello, everybody. Thanks for inviting me. Really look forward to our talk.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, hey, we had talked about on the podcast a lot of the great things, really spanning a lot of the work that's being done in the golf sustainability space as far as the future. But a couple other topics I wanted to talk about that this is really connecting to some of the articles that you've written on golfsustainability.com. I'm sorry, golfsustainable.com. Got to get that right there for you. But one thing I want to talk about here, first of all, because we held off on this, is you're just recovering from a very long week. You're in Germany, in Munich, I believe, or just outside of Munich.
Yeah.
And exactly. You were in the UK at a conference, I believe it was the Sustainable Future of Golf conference with England Golf. So tell us about this. Give us an overview first about how this came about, and you were speaking there. So tell us about your week in England there with the Golf Sustainability Conference.
Yeah, actually, it was very nice from the English and British guys to invite me twice. Actually, first thing was a conference in Cambridge at the Center of Risk at the Cambridge Business School, and that was organized by Dr. Mark Bloomfield and Gardar and Toro, and the topic was the future of golf, of water and golf. And I was lucky to be a speaker there. And the good thing about that was it was all a little bit about disruptive thinking and bringing some experts from the outside industry in, from the many people, just water experts and climate experts. And we really tried to do something like a workshop where we try to challenge ourselves a little bit and think about the future of golf. And the starting point was, okay, how would golf work without water? What would happen if there would be one day no water? And so that was pretty interesting and really liked it. And then I actually went to a sustainability summit in London, Richmond, which wasn't golf. That was actually with the Green Gazelles. That was a rugby match.
Oh, okay. All right.
And so that was very interesting. And then from there, I went on Monday to the England, on Tuesday actually, to the England Golf Sustainability Summit. And that was the first one. And I was the host of the biodiversity panel. And there they covered a few more topics. There was like biodiversity, water, inclusion, innovation. And the whole main topic of the whole conference was collaboration. How can golf manage to get more experts in? How can we work together with other industries, with other stakeholders like environmental organizations? So also very interesting day. And I think the organizers of both events have really done a pretty good job to get out of this, this golf-centered view of the things that golfers tend to talk to other golfers, and the golf industry talks to golfers. But I think we really should start talking more to the world around us. And both conferences really achieved that in a very, very well way.
Well, that's interesting. That segues into the next question I was going to ask you, or challenge, not necessarily you personally, but the conferences, because I've been involved. We talked about earlier my background in architecture and sustainable design for the first couple of decades of my career before I transitioned, kind of stumbled into the golf industry here, and here I am. but that I would go to conferences, and even just quite recently, as far as decarbonization of the built environment and in architectural design and construction, it always seemed like we'd have the same people having the same conversations, but all talk like preaching to the choir, talking to each other, and there was no actionable takeaways. Like everybody just kind of then descended upon the place, felt good, talked about things, challenged each other for 2, 3, 4 days, and then just kind of went back to where they were with nothing really moving forward. I know it's a very cynical way of looking at it, but did you find this? It sounds like there are some positive action items then that you're going to be moving forward with from the outcomes here. So talk about that as far as actionable outcomes that you saw with this group, maybe
Yeah.
low-hanging fruit to work on over the next couple of years or almost immediately.
Yeah, I think the good thing about the England Golf Conference, just to give you one example, in the biodiversity panel, there was one guy sitting from Natural England, and that's one of the largest NGOs working on biodiversity and just nature. So they have also changed their approach completely, because they have realized that they need golf courses much more for creating more green spaces for the population. So they are also interested in more work with golf courses. But actually the golf industry until now very often has the feeling that should we bring these NGOs in because they will discover a red list bet on my golf course and then they will close it, and then we have all these regulations and that might be really complicated, so let's better not do it. So it was so refreshing to hear that they are really interested in working with us, and yeah, so that really helped a lot. And on the water issue on the Thursday in Cambridge, on the Friday in Cambridge, actually, I get my really mixed up, was also pretty positive, because we had many water companies there who didn't have a clue about golf until then, 2 or 3 of them. And they just made clear how urgent the topic is, and that the expectation of golf, that there will always be a way out of this drought situation for them, and somebody in the industry, they will find a golfer somewhere and he will save them, or
Right.
and that's just not taking place. And they offered a pretty clear picture of the future that wasn't very positive. So I think the people from the golf side really discovered that there is really a need for action. And yeah, obviously they are already forming like an action group which will work on it. So I'm pretty positive that something is going to happen.
Nice, nice. So I'm curious to learn if they touched upon the topic of turf grass and the kind of the innovation side of that, knowing myself that in North America here, there's over 15,000 golf courses, and I believe globally there's 30 to 35,000. And turf grass is one of the biggest crops produced in North America, but what we actually require. They're not just for golf courses, but turf in general. So was anybody talking about that as far as making turf more kind of balancing and reconciling between needing the performance, not just for greens, but for fairways and playability and durability, and also with the maybe drought tolerance of certain types of grasses? So tell me about that. Was anybody having conversations about kind of the future of turf?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it wasn't really a big topic, but the R&A mentioned in both conferences that they really are investing in more research on it. And then I, for example, just talked last week to Bernd Leinauer. He's from the New Mexico State University,
Okay.
and he's one of the turf grass specialists and specialized in water and golf and turf. He's also working with the USGA on some research projects. And I think there's a lot going on regarding, on the one hand, developing new seeds, but on the other hand, really on the heat tolerance. And what he told me, I actually wrote an article about it yesterday. What he told me, that it's not so much about the seed, but about the knowledge of the combination of water and seed and the ideal times, and how much water does the grass need when, and which kind of soil is the most receptive. And I mean, that's really a thing for superintendents and irrigation experts. I'm definitely not an agronomist,
Right.
but I think that's probably one of the things which is where the industry really takes a very deep look into at the moment. So we will see many innovations, especially in the water and irrigation system side.
I'm interested to see, again, with some of the parallels I draw from my background in architecture and the sustainability side. And I've even seen, even recently, the work that I've done, the time I do spend in design and architecture, that one of the biggest hurdles that energy efficiency, getting to carbon net zero, all that piece is not necessarily the technology. The technology is there. It's that educational side, it's that transformational side and training side of that we see that a lot of tradespeople, they do things the way they always do it, rather than, and they resist in some cases, because that's what we know. Are you seeing that also, that there's a lot of effort still needs to happen? You talk about the grounds crew and the superintendents, that education side, that to trickle down there to the people that are just riding the mowers, even that needs to change. Is that you see that happening quickly now, or is that still something that's a bit of an issue, just like I see in the construction industry?
No, I think it's definitely an issue. I think one example for it, for example, are the autonomous mowers and the small electrified ones. I mean, the little ones which are on the fairways and mowed and could be there instead of the big machines, and just work on solar energy or something like that. I think that's actually a big chance for the industry to, if a golf club has its own solar energy and is completely electrified, he could be self-sufficient, and we see that on quite a few courses. But it's just such a big step in a new technology. Sorry.
Bless you.
Oh.
This is a great thing. We can edit all that out afterwards. It's all good.
I'm sorry.
Take your time. Take your time.
You have to do that again. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
So I start again with the mowers.
Okay, great.
Okay. I think one very good example for this are the small electric mowers, which are really some big innovation for the industry. We have started seeing them for the first time, I would say, like 2-3 years ago, with the first. It can't be. I'm so sorry. But now I'm fine now. I'm really sorry.
That's okay.
Do it again. So
1 second. I'm going to get this off. I'm going to just remove this so that we'll talk about. We'll have that on. I'll add it at the stage a little bit later. We can talk. I'll get your website up there. Okay.
Okay.
Let me go back to here. Okay.
Yeah.
Take 3. Here we go.
Just one example are, I think, the small electric mowers, which are really a big innovation for the game. I mean, we started seeing them for the first time like 3 years ago. I saw the first prototypes from Husqvarna, for example, and they are a big change for the greenkeeping industry, because, for example, if you could have a golf club with solar energy and then just start going into everything being electric, and then the golf club could be self-sufficient regarding energy. I mean, also Toro and Jacobson, they are also bringing the electrified machinery in. I think at the Olympic Games we just saw electrified mowers. So, but on the other hand, then you come to a normal golf club and then they start saying, okay, what happens if we have an energy breakdown? And I'm not so sure if the quality is the same and all this stuff. On the other hand, we have these advantages, like there's so much less there's less noise, and the whole working environment for the greenkeeper is so much better. So I think it's really an innovation, but it's not so easy to implement it.
Got it. So getting back to golfsustainable.com, and here I'm going to pull up the, there we go. So there's your website here. So like I said, lots of great articles written there. Of course, it defaults to
Thank
German.
you.
Myself, because you are in Germany, and myself in Canada here in North America. So you have everything in English there too. So that's fantastic. But one of the articles you have on here that I want you to talk about, I'm assuming that you co-wrote this one or got some insights from your husband, Thomas, who is a golf course designer, golf course architect. So talk about this one article. I believe it's called Course Design 2.0, Ready for Climate Change. So let us know what's going on with that.
Yeah, it's a lot about
particular article.
resilience. I think most of the courses we see, we see many courses who really fight with drought issues, with floodings, with heat waves, with increasing costs for fuel and for energy, and also for staff actually, and for water. So I think the task is really to make the golf course future-proof and design it in a way that it's much more manageable for the staff, that it uses less water, and reduce the mowing areas, talking about maybe different length, more extensive areas, maybe even making the greens more complicated, but reducing the length, for example. I mean, golf courses, in the last 20 years, everything has been about length, and not so much, or very often not so much about strategy. I mean, can we make the game or the courses as difficult and as much fun when we just change the design a little bit? I mean, I think there are very good examples for just, if you think about par threes, very small par threes, some of the most famous par threes in the world are very short par threes.
Yes.
So I think that's a pretty good example that not every golf course has to be extremely long, you see. And so I think golf course design of the future will definitely be different than the one we have seen the last 5 years, where the courses get bigger and bigger and bigger. But not every golf club has, I don't know, 30 greenkeepers for 18 holes or 25 greenkeepers. We see clubs, in small clubs in Europe, they just have like 5 greenkeepers for 18 holes. So how can they handle a big course? No way. So I think golf course design really has to change a little bit, and most of the golf course architects are really already working on that. The big organizations have sustainability strategies and are really promoting this more sustainable design.
Got it. Well, the fourth pillar you've got up there on your website there, I wanted to hold that because I wanted to ask you about this, and that is the global golf tourism industry. So, and looking at this with travel and the carbon footprint of traveling halfway around the world to play some of these iconic courses, which is on most golfers, especially men as they get older, their bucket list in their life here. So here, maybe you're going to butt heads like with some people and maybe upset some people in the global golf tourism industry, but share your thoughts on golf tourism as it relates to sustainability.
Yeah, very controversial topic, I think, because I mean, golfers love to travel. And I think it's really not good for the for the footprint. So just to give you an example, I went to St. Andrews a few weeks ago, and I mean, the course, the Links Trust does so much for sustainability, from creating their own compost to nearly don't using any fertilizers, and using just a very small amount of water. So I would say very sustainable approach. But on the other hand, I mean, you see hundreds of Americans and foreigners there each day. Everybody's flying in. Some are even coming with a helicopter. So there is no way that this golf course will ever become a net zero, you see. but what are you going to do? On the other hand, I think I'm just a normal golfer, and I also love to play on different golf courses. So travel is part of the game. So I think the question is, what can you do? I mean, I think you really don't have to do this over the weekend flight to, I don't know, a destination 4 hours away, hop out of the plane, play 2 courses, come back. I mean, that's really a little bit, I wouldn't say it's very sustainable. I mean, so try to lengthen your stays, reduce the amount of different vacations and go for longer ones, just to give you an example. Try destinations which are nearby. That's another topic. So, but all in all, I have to say the whole travel topic is one the whole golf industry doesn't really talk about, because everybody knows it's really terrible.
Yes.
And one of the weak points of golf, no question. So I think actually there has been a study at a German university about the footprint of the German golfer, and the only other group which was worse when travel came in was the surfer, because the surfer also loves to travel to far destinations for the best wave, you see.
Yes.
So I think, but many of the golfers I talk to are aware of the situation and try to change it. So I think it's just a matter of communication and talking to the people and saying, okay, do you have to take a private jet even, or a helicopter? Can't you just go on a regular flight, or maybe next time you take the car, or some, just easy stuff? I mean, I think we have to become a little bit better.
Yes, and I think that is part of that transition, not only in understanding and communication, but yes, we're not telling people to stop doing what they're doing. I think you use the word reduce and reduction many times there, and I think that's appropriate. And that's very much like the energy transition off of fossil fuels. We're not looking to turn that off in one day. We're not able to do that the way that our global economy and cities are built, and the way that humans live. But yes, it's a transition, and reduction is part of it, and just being more mindful about thinking about that. And I know that I do my best to do that also, that I play mostly local here and go on a couple of trips a year. And yeah, so it's a matter of not stopping completely, but being a bit more intentional. And
and I think I would really like to mention the professional game, because I think they really have to play a role in it, because how do you want to tell the normal golfer in the normal golf club that he should be more responsible regarding travel? And then we have a discussion if, just to, I don't know, if Scotty Scheffler goes together on one private plane with, I don't know, Rory McIlroy or whoever, or if everybody sits in his own plane. So that's so ridiculous. And the carbon footprint of the professional game is so horrendous that I think it would be great if the elite players would really try to take a little bit more responsibility. Just to give you a positive example, I talked to Marcel Siem, that's a German professional, a very experienced guy, plays for, I don't know, many years, and he has 2 small kids and is very much into sustainability. And he told me, okay, I just go coach, and yes, I will go business class because that's my work and I have to sleep a little bit, but I won't go on a private flight. And he communicates that, and I really like I like that, you see. But when you go to a British Open or go to the Masters and then check out just private flights around the tournament, it gets really crazy.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, I can keep going on and on and on here, because I just love talking to you and getting all of your insights here. But hey, why don't we finish up? And as I mentioned, I do encourage our viewers here to go back and listen to the conversation that Petra and I had on the ModGolf podcast episode there. I will keep that link down below, so you'll be able to find that. But as we finish up here, why don't you let everybody know, I believe I got the URL right there. Let everybody know what you're doing and how they can connect with you with golfsustainable.com.
Yeah, I think golfsustainable.com is just a journalistic online platform just around sustainability in golf. And I can promise you won't get any paid content on the website. We just try to deliver real journalism. We go to the places, we speak to the people, we talk about the positive stuff, but we also talk about the challenges. So if you have a good story, if you have a good project, it can be the smallest club in the country, just write us an email or contact us on LinkedIn or Instagram or wherever, and we will try to get in touch with you.
Amazing. Amazing. Well, why don't we finish up with that? There we go. So Petra Himmel with golfsustainable.com. Thank you again for joining me today on the ModGolf YouTube channel and also on the ModGolf podcast. Just love the conversations, and hopefully we meet each other in person. I know that'll increase our carbon footprint by doing that, but we'll do that in the most responsible
We will
way.
go for a long stay. I hope to come to Canada and stay for a little longer. So.
Well, if you're in Vancouver, we can make that happen here. I would love that, and maybe next time I'm going to be in the UK next year. Maybe we'll be at the same golf conference. You never know in the summer, so perhaps we'll meet there. You never know. All
Thank
right.
you very
So hey,
much.
thanks again so much for joining me today on the ModGolf podcast, and I look forward to talking to you again very soon.
Thank you. Bye.